Welcome back to Dirty20, everyone. Hope you had a lovely Christmas and maybe got a session in there during the festive season. Now, today we're going to take a look at the little guys. The guys whom, without, the big bad evil guy is just a dude with one action per turn. I'm talking, of course, about the Henchmen, sometimes known as the Minions. Let's get on with the show. Thanks for joining us, lovely people. Continuing with our look through the monster manual and some of our favourite creatures to use in encounters, today we look at the support players, the Bobs of D&D, shall we say.
Bob?
Wait?
Oh my god, I haven't seen you since
Jacksonville.
T.G.I.Friday. Well, what the hell?
That's right. They can also have downtime and go to T.G.I.Fridays. Now, there isn't really one single type of minion or henchman, as really the type of big bad evil guy you use in your campaign is going to determine what kind of henchman they employ. For example, we've talked in the past of hobgoblins and how they can be a really great lower to mid-level kind of boss or mini big bad evil guy. Now, these guys would be unlikely to have a bunch of gnolls running around with them, although, you know, I'm sure there's a way you could make that work. No, much more likely is that they would have a tribe of goblins as their guards. So today I wanted to focus on what is, in my opinion, maybe the most useful section in the monster manual, Appendix B, non-player characters. Here you will find humanoids ranging from commoners at CR 0 to archmages at CR 12. This section of the monster manual is easily the one that I have used the most in my campaigns. You have, among many others, things like acolytes, assassins, bandits and bandit captains, cultists, guards, spies, and veterans. In our second section, I will take a look at the stat blocks of a few from the Appendix B, but I wanted to give you some examples of some creative ways that I have used these monsters in my campaigns. Now, you might be thinking, why would I want a CR0 monster for my encounter? Well, one of my favourite encounters that I have ever run actually used commoners as a central element of the encounter. Now, it's a lot of fun to walk into a dungeon or the Underdark and just kill every goblin that you come across. But those of you who have been watching the channel for a while will know that I like a little bit of nuance or moral uncertainty in my encounters. But let me tell you about this encounter that I created. So I had set up a speech that was being given by a kind of religious leader in a central square in my homebrew city of Briarwick. He was a drow advocating for a different path for his kin. This would be attended by the party as kind of bodyguards, as well as a throng of people. Now, during the speech, of course, the drow who opposed his way of thinking attacked. Up till there, you might say, okay, pretty standard encounter. But it was actually the crowd of commoners that made it much more interesting. I split them into about 5 groups of 10 and had them move in random directions around this city square, with the enemy drow mingling in among them. This would mean that area of effect spells would, and in fact did, kill a lot of bystanders. There were also these individual scenarios that I'd created. So, for example, a child was sitting under an upturned cart and a group of drow are coming towards him. Or a group of commoners is directly under a crumbling building. This to me set up some really kind of possibilities for heroic moments. This is what I mean by that kind of nuance in an encounter, where you can make the players have to make a decision between, okay, just go and murder the bad guys or actually save people and do a good thing. But all of these elements, including the commoners into the encounter, really made for a fabulous, fabulous combat. Now, if you want a crazed enemy that could freak out the party, beyond them just being like a nasty creature, then look no further than the cultists and the cult fanatics. So, a couple of things that I really like about using these guys. Number one, they are fanatics. They're crazed cultists. So, they will die and they will fight till the bitter end to try and win. The other thing that I really like about using these guys is that anybody could be behind the curtain pulling the strings. A wealthy, unscrupulous noble, a Rakshasa with nothing to lose, or a demon prince trying to enter the material plane. I have actually used this last one and it was epic, sadly leading to the death of one of the PCs. Actually, come to think about it, a PC died in the crowd encounter as well. Anyway, as I said, this appendix really is one of the most useful parts of the Monster Manual, and I recommend you get familiarized with it, and because you will be using a lot of the stat blocks in here.
Move! Move!
Careful, Austin!
And before we go to our stat block dissection, please make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss an upload. Okay then guys, so jumping into the Monster Manual on page 350 in Appendix B, we're going to start off by looking at the Thug stat block. Now you'll notice that they are a challenge rating of half, but don't let that fool you though. 32 hit points means that it will take a lower level character around 3 rounds to put them down. So you will be tempted to kind of flood the map with lots of them. But along with their multi-attack, which I know only deals an average of 5 hit points, but they have this special rule, they pack tactics. Pack tactics. The thug has advantage on an attack roll against the creature if at least one of the thug allies is within 5 feet of the creature and the ally isn't incapacitated. So this really is going to up the possibility of crits, and therefore, party members can go down fairly quickly. So a group of them, yes, absolutely. But remember that these guys are probably in it for the money. And so they are unlikely to lay down their lives, unlike, say, the cultists. So, once they maybe start getting to halfway, to down to about like 15, 16 hit points, you might maybe, I don't know, make a wisdom check or something like that. Or, if the encounter's going a little roughly, maybe you'll just think they're just going to run. Now, still on page 350, another stat block that I use quite often is the veteran. And veterans are often my upgrade to the thug. So when a party hits level 5, coming up against challenge rating half, minions or henchmen is not necessarily going to be particularly challenging. For me, they're more likely to come across a group of veterans fighting for the big bad evil guy. Also because, the big bad evil guys will probably have more money by the time these guys hit level 5 and stuff like that. Now, these guys are a lot tougher than the thugs. An AC of 17 means they are really quite hard to hit. And with 58 hit points, will take some work to get off the board. Now, I like the idea of having a little variety whenever you have an encounter, so not everyone being the same essential stat block, even though for the players it wouldn't really matter, but just for your enjoyment. So sometimes I'll have a veteran leading a bunch of thugs, when facing lower level parties and stuff like that. Again, just for a little bit of variety. Now, unlike the other two, on page 347 you have Mage. Like I say, unlike the other two, mages are more likely to just be individuals as opposed to like a gang of mages that the party will face. Now, this is actually really a good thing for you as a DM, because one of the hardest things about running a mage, particularly because of the spells, is what to do with them on their turn. You have a lot of different options, and honestly, in the heat of the moment where you've got a mage as well as a bunch of thugs, maybe a veteran as well, it's hard to know what to do on their turn. The best advice that I've heard on this is to kind of decide ahead of time what they will do each and every turn. So turn 1, maybe you cast Mage Armor. Turn 2, you cast Ice Storm. Turn 3, you choose what you're going to do, and so on. Now, I've done this a few times, and more than anything else, it makes it easier to just run the bad guys. You don't have to spend time thinking what you will do. But I will also say that by about turn 3, the plan has gone out of the window almost every single time. And that's okay. That's where, knowing about the cantrips like Firebolt, or, some of the other spells, the lower level spells like Suggestion or something like that. Basically knowing what the mage can do, even if you haven't put it in the kind of the turn that you're going to be doing that exact thing, means that you can and should be flexible with a mage. Another thing to remember is that the mage should have an escape plan. After all, that is how you create great reoccurring villains, by having them get away and vow vengeance. But, again, 15 AC with Mage Armor, and a 9th level spellcaster with a +6 to hit with spell attacks and a spell save of 14. I mean, they can be tough, and you can also give them the variant with familiars, which again can make that mage that little bit tougher. There we have it, lovely people. What are your thoughts on Appendix B in the Monster Manual? Have you had a particularly memorable encounter with any of the monsters in it? Let us know in the comments down below. As always, take care and keep slaying. If you've enjoyed this content, then please smash that like button, subscribe, share this around online, and come and visit our website, www.lavictoriaproductions.com, to see all our past episodes, as well as our blog posts and all the stuff that we're currently working on at La Victoria Productions. Why not reach out to us and tell us what you think of our videos? You can reach us on Twitter. @MouthLaVictoria is our producer. We are also on Instagram. I am Enano LVP, and our producer is Jazzy J. Cherot. We're also La Victoria Productions on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come on by and let us know what you think.